We are live. Okay, let's go over here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Coin Republic podcast. My name is Shor Bacharya. Tokenization is one of the topics in Web3 that a lot of influencers, creators, bloggers, journalists, different people talk about this. So we thought of talking about it in detail, delve right into it. What market spaces do you think of when it comes to tokenized assets? OpenSea, is the major one. So I'm going to introduce you today with filemarket.xyz. It's a multifaceted platform that serves as a Web3 storefront builder, a cutting edge marketplace, and a protocol for tokenizing, storing, and swapping files. They specialize in monetization of AI generated content, 3D models of metaverse spaces, sale of exclusive content for bloggers and influencers, selling software and code repositories. Business model is fantastic. They have a fantastic business model that I'm going to talk in detail with the perfect person. But remember, we're going to focus on the use case today with the expert himself, the man who founded it from, and his background is pretty interesting. So without a further ado, it is my honor to introduce you guys to the screen, Leah Orlov. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. I apologize.
No worries, no worries. That's pronounced as Ilya, actually, Ilya Orlov.
Ilya.
And Ilya, that's the Slavic form of Elijah. So the same guy from the Bible.
Context though, you have a tremendous family background and you come from the other side of the world, as we like to say it. So it's very controversy stricken at the moment. Could you tell us, and I want to hear it from the horse's mouth, a little bit about your family history and how did you go from that rich history to Web3?
Oh, thank you so much for this tremendous introduction. I really appreciate that. And to be honest, I'm indeed very proud of my family. My sister is a Google Scholarship receiver, and right now she's working in a game development company, AAA game development company, Gearbox. That's a Canadian company right now. And but especially we are thankful to our grandfather, who was one of the inventors of the first generation of nuclear rockets for the U-boats. That sounds pretty scary, but that was pretty much the place where the best engineers could be working on amazing different inventions. Unfortunately, in the military direction. But we, as a next generation, we are going definitely in the right direction here. But anyway, we are super thankful to our grandfather because he is the one who has given us this engineering vibe and the need to discover this world and build new efficient systems. And I would like to add here an interesting fact is that in the Web3 space, we see a lot of like Russian and Ukrainian and other post-Soviet engineers from other post-Soviet countries, and they are delivering an amazing work. And as I always say, that's the children of the Russian, of the Soviet engineers that flew to the space out of Gulag, because many engineers, they were actually sent to the prison, to the Gulag, and from there, like they were actually, they had laboratories there, and they were building this rocket engines that, for example, Elon Musk is still excited about, and Elon Musk was using even like this. Engines that were invented by Korolev and his team during the Soviet Union. So my grandfather is related to this topic. And unfortunately, because of this awful war that was started by the Russian government, instead of legalizing the crypto and keeping all the people, all the engineers inside the country and building the new high-tech Russia and the environment around it, and other helping and communicating with other countries, the Russian government decided to go the way of destroying everything. And this awful war, because of this war, I cannot even go to visit my grandparents right now, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So, but as we all know, the Russian engineers and Russian scientists in the immigration sometimes are even more efficient than in Russia. So somehow the civilization is going on, and we hope that we're going to be able at one point to build a transparent financial and social and political system of the world based on transparent open databases and blockchain, with the help of AI, of course.
So, since you have a lot of network within the Russian diaspora and the Web3 space, right? All these innovators, um, what is the overall sentiment? I know you have a particular stand for, against the war, you're for Ukraine, but there are a lot of people who are supporting Russia as well. It's not a political podcast, but what I'm trying to get here is that it is halting evolution of crypto in general, right? In terms of adoption, Russia could have been a big player in this game, but now we have seen all this halt. So, what is the overall sentiment? How many people you've talked to have an opinion on this matter?
So I was always interested in the politics, and I was just always interested to understand like how the things are working in this life, in this social system of the modern world. And that's why like I was trying to go deeper in this topic, and I made a conclusion is that this topic for many people is pretty confusing, but there is a simple fact that needs to be understood. Like it's like the Russian government was conquered by the mafia guys, and now
Oh,
these guys are pretending they are the Russia and playing on this sentiment of this love to your own language and your own like culture and your own people. But in the reality, they are the bad guys who are making very wrong decisions and who are hurting people, a lot of people, and killing a lot of people.
so what?
And this
I
is
mean, a
just like,
little bit of
so what
questions.
I'm trying to say is that all conscious, all smart people, and especially Russian engineers that are abroad, they are all against this, of course. Like there are some people who are lost, who are maybe insane, or who are maybe not educated enough, and some of them they are just being tricked by this mafia government, and that's
Okay.
how it is. And as soon as we understand it, the sooner we will have a chance for changes. But my own vision is that we need decentralization not only in the internet, we need decentralization in the world as well. And I really believe that Russia at one point is going to become a Eurasian confederation. And my dream is to play some role in this process. And for me, like building every day, being in the Web3 space, that's for me my frontier of this evolution.
Two questions. One, do you think post Putin Russia would be crypto friendly? Why is that? And second, on that note, on the note that you said this, right? The context that a lot of people are against it. What about people who are against the decentralized narrative, saying that people use Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies like Monero maybe. I'm not taking names, right? But where you cannot track it, they're using to fund Russian government or even Ukraine, they say, who are against Ukraine. So they say that it's being used to fund the war. What do you say about that and also the post-Putin narrative?
So I would like to answer first of all, like the second question, right? Like the everything what has value in this world is being used for bad things always, and that's how humans do it. And unfortunately, I mean, we invent gold, we use it for the bad things. We invent dollars, we use them for the bad things, right? We invent Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we're going to use them as well for the bad things. And of course, we see that like in the crypto space. There are a lot of opportunities for that, but there are also a lot of opportunities for that with cash. So let's not forget that. And in general, like why, I would like to add a little, like a really important point here is that what I believe is that we right now we are living in this third world war. And this third world war is not happening between countries. This third world war is happening between the old and the new people. Sometimes it's mostly connected with generations, but not always, and not always connected with the age. It's connected with the mind openness. It's connected with an interest, like to look into the future instead of trying to catch something in the past, which is impossible. And Putin is just one of these old rich men with a big, huge capital, which is being ignorant, and which is being not respectful to the technologies, thinking that someone, when in his life everything has worked out, this is the way how everything should be, but it's not true. So I just believe he's scared and he's lost, and all the people who are not really um, and all the people who are not really um, brave enough, like to look into the future, I think they are all a little bit lost. And our mission is to bring the light, to bring the knowledge, and to spread the news, and to gather them all around. Oh, I cannot hear you. Your mic is muted.
I apologize for that. Honest mistake. So I said you have an interesting background to tackle. The no wonder why you have so much passion to talk about political topics. You have a background in communication and international relations. It's a bit odd to see people from communications background to lead a Web3 company. Usually we see finance guys, tech guys. So what are the challenges you faced thus far? And how did you start File Mark? Why did you decide to come to the Web3 space?
So I was always on the edge. Like, I actually wanted to go to study to the technical university, but then at some point I made like another choice. But I was always like on the edge between like the tech things and like the business development and marketing, and I was always interested in politics actually, and that was one of the reasons I went to study international relations. And straight after I've graduated from the university, I started to work in the family business. And because thanks to my mom and to my family, I was studying in Switzerland since I was 15. So I graduated from the German gymnasium. Then I started in Zurich University. Um, I studied like communication science there, like, and then destiny turned in the way that I returned to Russia when I was 22. And since then, since I was young, I was always connected with project management, and it was always related like with some digital stuff, because that's what has always interested me. And since 2016, like I'm full in the crypto, as you can see. I'm the voice of Web 3.0, as I also sometimes say. I have a tattoo here saying Web 3.0 on my neck. So for me, since 2016, I'm in the crypto space, building Web3 startups. I was always on the builder side, as the product manager, as the product owner, as the founder. And I always say, like, unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to write the code. So, I was, I was in need to find the other way to get engaged. So that's how I decided to become the founder. And I also think that I have a great energy, and somehow I'm always like empowered by the ideas of the Web3 community and Web3 technologies, and which are actually giving me this special, I don't know, ability somehow to like to have the vision where everything is going, and to get the right people together. And right now I'm like, it's the time point of my life when I finally have learned how to do that properly, because the team that is working with me right now is a top level team, and we are working closely with Protocol Labs, Filecoin Foundation, and Cointelegraph. Cointelegraph has joined File Market Equity Board, and Protocol Labs has validated us in many different ways. We have received a couple of prizes on different hackathons from East Global and Filecoin, and we became the app of the month in July in the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystem, after we have launched our own EFT collection, encrypted file token collection, which is called File Bunnies. And also we have received a grant from them, and we went through 2 stages of Filecoin virtual machine incubation program. So our biggest topic is data economy, and we are super excited about that. And I hope your next question is going to be exactly about that, because I have something to share here as well.
Absolutely. Let's go to that one by one. In your articles, we extensively covered about Filecoin virtual machine, but we would like to hear your opinions about why does it matter and why is it important. Let's one by one cover all the point that you mentioned.
All right, let's go. So first of all, uh, we see the evolution of blockchain in the way that in 2016 we had a token. Pretty much we had Bitcoin and its forks, and then Ethereum was there, and everyone was like, the only thing everyone were doing, they were pretty much like issuing their own tokens on Ethereum. And so everyone was just playing with the token, and this bubble, like at one point it started to grow like tremendously, and then like it dumped like super quickly. And 2020, 2021, beginning of 2022, what we saw is that everyone were playing with the token and some custom logic in the form of a smart contract, because smart contract is a custom logic that you can upload to the public network, and that will run there unstoppable, and it will become unstoppable there, like no one is able to turn it off, not even the original deployer. So so everyone were playing with all this DeFi, NFT, like basic DAO mechanics, staking, minting, and so on. That's pretty much a token plus smart contracts, right? But the whole thing turned out to be a bubble as well. And right now we are coming to this third stage of evolution of blockchain, where we have a token, smart contracts, and data that can be controlled, managed from the straight from the smart contract. And that opens up amazing amount of opportunities where we can really build a sustainable like Web3 digital economy. Why I'm saying this? Because if we take a look at the core of, like, for example, Filecoin or other decentralized storage networks, we can see that at the core of it, we have a real tangible business process. There are storage providers with equipment, and there are data providers, and data providers are paying to store some data, or to host their web service, website, or an app. Of course, it's still on the early stage in some way, like, and still there's a huge way to go. But Filecoin and IPFS is definitely the biggest project and the most successful project in this direction. And that was the reason we have chosen Protocol Labs and Filecoin and PFS ecosystem, like to become our alma mater, and we are really proud to be a part of this huge, amazing community. And like the Filecoin has always been like moving in its own interesting, specific direction, and still does it. And the master plan of Filecoin was pretty much to first create the protocol in the network of storage providers, as a second stage to collect the data, to onboard the humanity's most important information, and as the third and main, and let's say the biggest step, it was all about launching the computation. So if we have a huge decentralized storage with a huge amount of open public data, then we could launch a truly open AI on top of it. And that's what I believe is the only way to save the humanity. Because if AI gets into the hands of governments and corporations only, then I think then we are really fucked. I'm sorry for my French, but I think that's gonna be
Yeah.
like, because that's gonna give them just unimaginable, unstoppable like power over everything in this world. And to build, so pretty much it's all about building the new internet with the new truly open AI and truly open decentralized storage. And as I said before, like about the basic tangible business model in the core of Filecoin, the whole internet right now is working on that. There are data centers and there are web services, websites, and apps, and they cannot work without each other. So if we want to build the new web, the Web3, we need decentralized storages as a core of it. And Filecoin and Filecoin and IPFS and Juan Benet, especially, like as a creator of, as a programmer and as a coder, as an engineer of these protocols, he had this vision 10 years ago. I mean, like when I realized all that, I was like, oh my God, that's pretty exciting.
Hmm. Let's talk about file wallet. Does one need to create file wallet before using file market, and what kind of benefits does one get using file wallet?
All right, so let me go from another side a little bit. So we have created File Market. File Market is a marketplace for files where you can tokenize any kind of a file, and you have a public layer, like a public content, a picture, which anyone can see, like in any other NFT. But we also have this private layer, this unlockable content container, where you can add any kind of like data inside. So it could be a 3D model, it could be a printable 3D model for 3D printer, it could be a data set, it could be, for example, any kind of a database, or a picture, stock photo, stock video, maybe some AI models, or other scientific research papers or models. And so pretty much anything like can be there. And we are right now in the process of doing a customer development and trying to figure out uh, where we should focus more in the beginning. But in general, like how we see file market is that anyone can come to the file market, and there like there's some kind of a like this BitTorrent vibe got to be existing there, that you can find any kind of file, anything that you want, but with nice interface, which will look like an explorer, like file explorer, of different tokenized data or content. And we have invented encrypted file token, which allows, thanks to the asymmetric encryption, which allows to transfer the decryption keys to the file on chain, with asymmetric encryption. So the new owner, when he buys this NFT, he's getting this additional key, which is stored in the file wallet. That's like the additional entity that we have right now in our protocol. So file wallet stores all these keys to all encrypted files. And then when you are transferring the actual NFT, this key and it gets encrypted one more time and travels to the new owner. And then the new owner uses his private key already to decrypt the file and get access to it. And it was really exciting. Like the last 5 weeks, we have achieved pretty much, but we were still in the deep research mode of trying to figure out like the best product market fit that could be out there right now for our technology. And to be honest, we have came to an amazing conclusion, because we want to become in some way, we're still like finalizing everything, and we're working on the a white paper right now. We want to create like a deep research scientific paper about that, about everything what we have found out, like working closely with Filecoin and looking at other decentralized storages for over the year. So our biggest idea, the model now is where we want to move, is that we want to create this concept of share to earn, like share to earn, store to
Share
earn.
to earn.
Yep, and there's so
Okay.
many different mechanics how this process can be fine-tuned, and we know that there are a lot of brilliant minds also inside the Filecoin community and other decentralized storages networks communities that are also working on this topic, and we believe that somehow we all should get united and maybe like separate like different fields of focus and work together, because we are not really competitors here. We are the researchers. That's like a huge R&D process. We're all trying to figure out how the humanity is going to store that's most important information. And Juan Benet, as a creator of IPFS, he wrote 30% of the code of IPFS or something like that. And he's also the creator of Filecoin, and he's now the CEO of Protocol Labs. I mean, this guy had much harder work when he figured out all that in 10 years ago, because there was no IPFS. So he needed to create IPFS. And we're kind of like more lucky as engineers, because we have already this amazing infrastructure, which might be not perfect, but which is anyway amazing achievement for the Web3. Unbelievable, and many people don't really realize that. And guys, the main thing you need to understand that IPFS means interplanetary file system. So it was created like by Juan, like as he was dreaming or thinking about this as this file system that will connect different planets. So, I mean, that's what gets us really excited.
Let's talk about file bunnies now. I mean, you mentioned your whitelist. So file bunnies are very exciting and they look so fantastic. So who can mint the file bunnies, and does it give me the spot in the whitelist of various other NFT mintings?
So uh, we have in March, in 14th of March, the FEVM was launched.
Mhm.
It means that Filecoin is actually a Rust blockchain, and the core of Filecoin will become programmable a little later in somewhere around, I think, October or something, but I'm not so sure. But since March 14th, we are able to deploy Solidity smart contracts to Filecoin's blockchain. And because FEVM is working on top of it right now. It has a little bit a limited functionality, like, so for example, like the computation over data is not yet available there, but you can already, through this FEVM smart contracts, Solidity smart contracts, we are able to launch all kind of basic functionality like NFTs, DeFi, like DAO stuff, and also we are able to create the deals with storage providers, because in Filecoin's decentralized storage, you always need to, like, the maximum period is 1.5 years that you can create a deal to store your files for. So if you want, for example, a perpetual storage, you can write a smart contract on FEVM that will renew, like, each 1.5 years or each month, for example, it will renew the deal and choose the right storage provider with the right price. And so we decided to give a tribute to the Filecoins community and to IPFS community, and especially to the FEVM community that we're active participants of. And we decided to launch File Bunnies. We have some colleagues, some friends, amazing art studio called Mr. Hero Geek, and they are creating different cool stuff like comics and different merch. And we invited guys to participate in this campaign, and they said yes. And so the whitelist was giving the ability to mint a file bunny for free. So 7,000 file bunnies are already minted out, unfortunately, guys. But some file bunnies are still left. Like, there were in total 3,000 file bunnies that were available for 12 fil. That's something around like $50, 50 USDT. And so there's still, some of them are still available. On the 28th of August, we plan to launch the secondary market as well. And right now we are cooking something also very interesting with Protocol Labs and other big Web3 company that is going to be connecting and integrating FEVM, and we plan to launch an interesting campaign around that. But that's a little bit
Ooh,
secret for now, so I'm
okay.
not going to be saying
We're
anything
gonna be
about
the
that.
first. We're gonna be the first media company to cover that. Let me just say that at least.
Oh, it sounds like a plan. Thank you so much.
Okay, but let's get things a little bit interesting. All right, we're going to talk about a possible airdrop, fingers crossed. But NFT lending platforms like SudoSwap has been becoming very popular of late. Do you see a potential in this type of lending platforms, given the fact that in the recent context, DeFi lending platform like Curve has gone through one of the massive attacks till date? So from that point of view, what you're going to say?
So I think that DeFi is, I mean, it's impossible to run away from DeFi. DeFi is the foundation of the Web3, of the Web3's financial economic system, I would say. At the same time, like, what I think about DeFi is that, again, I can give an amazing example of DeFi in Filecoin, for example. So because we have this real tangible process in Filecoin where data providers are paying to store their files, their data, um, the storage providers, they must also actually stake some file coins to guarantee that they're not going to be losing these files and that they will keep on storing them until the end of the epoch, the period, the settled period. So in the agreed period from the deal. And that means that a lot of storage providers, they're actually having a lot of equipment, but they don't, sometimes maybe they don't want to buy and stake some additional fields. So here there are a lot of liquid staking protocols right now launching in the Filecoins ecosystem that are based on this fundamental like business process inside Filecoin, and that are building the DeFi mechanics and lending mechanics on top of that. So you can, like, because in DeFi, like the biggest question is mostly like where the money are coming from, right? Like okay, sometimes that's the commissions. That's a simple question, but mostly DeFi is super inflationary in the beginning, but at the same time, like sometimes it's like Ponzi schemed, or maybe even always just some of the DeFi projects are able then to, I don't know, to keep it going or something. But again, but at the same time, like we need to take a look at the Bitcoin. So I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto has been using the greed to incentivize the community to become valuable for each other, profitable for each other. Like, so it's like people who don't know each other, they are all mining Bitcoin, they're all creating the network of Bitcoin, they're all raising the capitalization of Bitcoin, they're giving this service to everyone in the world, and at the same time they're getting profit. So okay, so maybe there was some part of the geeks that were doing this just because they wanted, just because they were excited. But at the end of the day, in this world, it's all about the profit, the need, because we all need to survive. We all need the energy to survive. We all consume energy, and we all like give away the energy for our activities. So that's why I think it's like connected with our deeper inner biological sense. Like that's why everyone is so excited about money in this world and about profit. And then Satoshi Nakamoto launched this snowball. It's, and now everyone is playing with people's greed, trying to bring something bigger to the world. Of course, there are also a lot of scammers who really don't care, or there are a lot of just commercial guys, like who are also like mostly in fintech, who don't care about if the world changes or not. They just care if they get their quarter bonuses, and that's fine. Like that's okay. Like I mean, that's the world is
You could
definitely
just
broken.
name
I mean, just look at what people are doing.
you could name Sam Bankman-Fried directly. Don't worry, nobody's gonna care anymore. But I agree about the dominance of
No, I
Bitcoin.
mean,
Bitcoin dominance is coming back, and there is a reason why there is a Bitcoin sticker on my microphone. It's pretty cool. It's the OG. Let us go
yeah, definitely.
to the final.
Bitcoin is the gold. Ethereum is the dollar. Is the new dollar. Bitcoin is the new
Absolutely.
dollar.
You sound well. It's official, guys. Leah is a Bitcoin maxi right over here. All right. So can we?
To be honest, just very quickly, guys, just to clarify, like to be honest, I think it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit funny or something, but that's impossible to imagine Web3 without Bitcoin and without Ethereum.
Bitcoin? Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
like in my own head, they are married. You know, like there is no conflict
Absolutely.
between them.
I think majority of the people are going to agree to it, even if it's slow, even if it's there, it doesn't cater to the blockchain trilemma. But who does? I mean, everybody's aspiring to be the next Bitcoin. That's the thing. That's the gist of it all, right? Let's
But
go
I think
top.
there are going to be no next Bitcoin. There are going to be no next Ethereum. Like that's if you. It's a very interesting fact. If you take a look at the amount of transactions in EVM chains and then in all alternative chains, like the difference is like insane. I think
Insane.
like
Exactly.
so EVM and Ethereum, like they have won this battle for sure. And what we
Yeah.
see is that like right now Ethereum is starting to scale in the way like pretty much the Cosmos was scaling, like launching all this subnets for separated subnets for the different depths. So that's what's happening right now with second layers. Everyone's forking Optimism just almost to launch it for their own like marketplace or something. Like Zora does it, for example, Zora.co.
let's talk about you. I mean, nobody can chase to be the next Bitcoin, but there's a reason why we compare altcoin dominance with Bitcoin dominance. Well, let's talk about your dominance in the market space, right? There was a blur once upon a time. So can we see a token airdrop of file market like Blur in the near future? Because look what happened. They surpassed OpenSea at one point in certain terms, right? So how are you guys planning to disrupt the market?
So let me be really honest. Like I really want to share like what I have like in my heart, like and in my mind around that topic. Like because I was always in the crypto space on the builder side. So all this abusive movement, like about around multi-accounting and retro drop hunting, was kind of confusing to me. And it was getting more and more confusing with the time, I would say. And I mean, we see a lot of like bullshit in this space, and a lot of people actually coming like just not to build but to abuse, right? Like to get these 100 accounts, to get 100 times an airdrop and then go sell it. But at the same time, like while I was like kind of like growing up, I would say, you know, like especially during the last year while we were building file market and getting all this interesting like new experience, like even after so many years in the Web3 space, like every year everything is getting so different. Like so I was trying to understand how it works. So and oh actually actually I can even tell the more interesting story here, but I think let's go like there like you know, like maybe later a bit, because we have our own philosophy, like methodology with six Jedis, Witchers and Muggles, which is
Okay.
describing like how the whole Web3 space is organized. But let me be more specific right now. So talk coming back to the airdrops and these super inflationary schemes, like where everyone is super motivated in the beginning, then everyone is just selling the token, it gets super dumped. Some people are losing a lot of money, but at the same time some people are getting a lot of money just out of nowhere. So and while I was kind of like trying to digest everything to understand like the Web3 space, like trends in a better way, like or the nature of Web3 space and where it's moving, like I realized that at the end of the day, like the way the Web3 space looks, that like you just it's just that for the user, for the end user, it's like the only thing which is really different is the token. That's what really makes it different from Web2 space, interoperable token. Because the rest,
Mm,
like the way you log in and the way you pay, it's okay, that's different. You also do it through the wallet, but at the end of the day, like you still do it in Web2 space. The only thing
mm,
what's getting really new here is actually the token, and the fact that the token can live in different networks, and that it can travel around, and it can be trended on sex on DEX, it can be used for smart contracts to pay gas and all this stuff. Like this is the really the news, like the biggest thing which is brought by Web3 to the internet.
mm,
And of course there is a huge infrastructural like work, but for the end user, you know, I'm just talking about these simple people who, the muggles mostly, you know, like the muggles who don't know how the magic works. Like they, even if they start to use the internet, they never found out how the internet works. Like and so but in with the Web3 space, it's going to be the same. At one point, like everyone's going to come, everything, the whole internet is going to become the Web3 space, but 80% of the people at least are not going to know it, like even like a little bit like how it works. So I'm coming to this point right now, is that we are trying to build a file market. We are trying to build a biggest database of different content and files that are minted, that have access tokens in the form of NFTs on different EVM chains, and that where the actual like content or data is stored in decentralized storage. For now, it's just the Filecoin, but in the beginning, we planned that it's going to be a lot of different decentralized storages. And our goal is not just to collect the data. Our goal is to collect the high quality data, the valuable data. So what we
mm,
need, like, we are trying to build, like our ultimate goal is to build the data DAO, which is going to be having and growing the community, which will be in charge of three main things: collecting data, structuring data, and um, validating this data. And we believe, like, our vision for now is that it can be done through tokenizing the data, tokenizing the files. And also the fact that we are tokenizing the files, that we are kind of wrapping this data in these data containers inside NFTs, not really inside NFTs, but like, let's say for the end user, it looks like this. So that gives an amazing ability also to list it and to trade it. But right now we are in this time point, like, where DGen community, like NFT community, they don't want to trade files. And we have this community that is trading files, and they don't want NFTs because that's just complicated for them. Like, everyone's talking about solving problems, but right now, if we bring right now file market to everyone, like to this existing community in Web2, we're not going to solve any problems for them. We're just going to add some problems for them. Of course, we're going to be talking about 100% privacy, royalties, interoperability, secondary market, and so on. But for them now, it's not really the pain. Like, they find with Web2,
Right.
and using the wallet is already painless for them. Like, they're really getting hurt. Like, for the people that are doing this for the first time, because it's kind of complicated. So I came to this conclusion that pretty much there's the only way how we can build this database is to incentivize the community. And what is the community? Community, that's the combination of, like, Amanda Cassett, the ex-CMO of Consensus. She's saying that community it's not something like metaphysical. Community is the combination of team, investors, and users.
Hmm.
In Web2 space, they are separated and not connected. Like, in the Web3 space, we are working on the same story. Like, we are working on the same goal. That's why, like, our goal, like our mission, like, is to collect a great community of data collectors, and people who are going to be structuring it and validating it and tokenizing it, bringing it through file market to the Filecoin right now, and minting it on FEVM, or for example ZK Sync. Right now we already integrated ZK Sync, another second EVM network. Right now it's getting live until Friday. So, and our goal is to launch this process, and our airdrop is all file bunnies holders are going to be getting the airdrop, because they are the first early adopters who helped us to show some on-chain traction and to successfully run this biggest cross-marketing campaign in the Filecoin's history. And now we are coming to this main biggest goal. Okay, now it's not about file bunnies or some other fun stuff. Now it's about collecting the data, because that's our big mission. We need to collect, to structure, and to validate the data, and we're going to be doing it together with our community. And the people who are going to be doing this, they're going to get rewarded for this with the tokens, because they're going to be the ones who are going to be creating the file market together with us.
It's interesting. So many use cases, so many pointers we talked about. I mean, I could do this podcast for one more hour, talk about witches, werecrafts, and Harry Potter and all of that. You seem to be the perfect guy to market filemarket.xyz. And if any one of you wants to get in touch with them, go to filemarket.xyz. That's your website, as well as follow Elia. I mean, I don't know. It's if you can't pronounce his name, at least you can read the name. So copy it, paste it, follow him, because he is definitely one of the Web3 KOLs who knows his stuff, because it definitely comes from an interesting diaspora. So without a further ado, I would like to bid adieu, unfortunately. But Mr. Laya, I wish you all the best and the File Market team. One thing I'm going to promise, though, is Coin Republic is going to closely monitor each and every success story you have so that we can publish it.
Thank you so much. We are super excited. I need to say that's one of the most interesting and like fully energized interviews that I was on. I really love your personal energy and in general what you guys are doing. think about this. We might be perfect co-hosts, man. Who knows? Who knows? Like
We're talking
maybe like
somewhere.
there
1 billion final coin, and a couple of bunnies. I'm definitely down.
that's all
So
discussable. Yes, definitely. I wanted to also thank everyone for taking your time, guys, listening to that. Um, we believe that like we promised you guys we're gonna be doing our job like honestly and truly and building it until at the very very end, until the time we won't have any energy anymore. And just one last thing I wanted to show you, like here, I have a tattoo,
okay,
and
there's a witch there.
this tattoo, there's a hash.
Oh
There's a
my
hash,
god!
right? There's a hash.
Wow,
So
that's
this
one way to
hash,
style.
this hash.
Yeah,
So the first guy who is gonna write in the comments to this video which kind of hash is that,
yeah.
we're gonna present a file bunny, a rare file bunny.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
that
Comment
yeah.
section down below. By the way, that's how you store your seed phrases. Okay, tattoo the shit out of it.
No,
But
no, no. That's how you shouldn't do that.
all right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll follow up with File Market soon, but till then, keep on subscribing, keep on liking the Coin Republic.